kind-hearted woman received a call about kittens living inside a fallen tree in the woods. She quickly gathered her rescue supplies and headed to the location to help the tiny animals. She brought along some treats, carriers, and soft blankets, knowing these items would be essential for a successful rescue mission. When she arrived at the spot, she found the kittens exactly where the caller had described. They were huddled inside a hollow section of an old fallen tree that had become their makeshift home. The kittens looked small, dirty, and clearly underfed. Their little bodies appeared thin, and their eyes were wide with fear at the sight of a human approaching their safe place. It was obvious these kittens had been living on their own without any human care or interaction. The woman approached slowly, trying her best not to frighten the already scared kittens. She moved with gentle, careful steps and kept her body low to appear less threatening. Despite her efforts, the kittens retreated deeper into the hollow tree as she got closer. They were wild and untrusting, their survival instincts telling them to hide from potential danger. Understanding their fear, the woman decided to be patient rather than rushing the rescue. She sat quietly near the fallen tree and placed some creamy cat treats at the entrance of their hiding spot. Then she waited, giving the kittens time to become curious and hopefully overcome their fear. Minutes passed with no movement from inside the tree. Eventually, hunger began to win over fear. One small kitten, braver than the others, slowly crept toward the treats. The woman remained still, hardly daring to breathe as the little one cautiously sniffed. After a moment of hesitation, the kitten quickly ate a treat, then darted back into the safety of the tree hollow. This was progress. The woman continued to place treats closer to herself, creating a trail that would bring the kittens within reach. She knew gaining their trust would take time and patience. After about 20 minutes, the brave kitten ventured out again, this time staying a bit longer to eat more treats. The other kittens watched from the shadows, learning from their bolder sibling that perhaps the treats were safe to eat. As the first kitten became more comfortable, the woman saw her chance. Moving slowly but confidently, she managed to pick up the kitten while it was distracted by the treats. The tiny animal squirmed and meowed in protest, but she held it securely and soothingly. She quickly placed this first kitten into her carrier, which she had prepared with a soft blanket to make it comfortable and less scary. Now came the harder part, rescuing the remaining kitten, which had seen its sibling being taken and was now even more frightened and wary. This second kitten, gray with fluffy fur, retreated deep into the hollow log. The woman tried placing more treats, but the kitten refused to come out. Too scared after seeing what happened to its companion, the woman knew she couldn't leave this kitten behind. Wild kittens rarely survive on their own, facing dangers from predators, weather, disease, and starvation. She decided to try a different approach. She sat quietly by the tree for nearly an hour, occasionally talking in soft tones just to get the kitten used to her voice. She placed treats closer to the hiding spot and even tried reaching into the log to pet the kitten, hoping to show it she meant no harm. After much patience and gentle coaxing, the gray kitten finally grew curious enough to peek out again. It was clearly hungry, eyeing the treats with longing. The woman remained perfectly still as the kitten carefully approached the food. When it finally came out to eat, she seized her opportunity, quickly but gently scooping up the frightened animal. The kitten squirmed and tried to escape, but she maintained a firm, yet gentle grip, supporting its small body to help it feel secure. With both kittens safely in the carrier, the woman began the journey home. Inside the carrier, the two siblings huddled together, finding comfort in each other's presence despite their fear of the unknown situation. The carrier was lined with soft blankets to make the trip less stressful. Upon arriving at her home, the woman had already prepared a special area in her fenced backyard for the new arrivals. She had set up a sheltered corner with food and water bowls, some cozy beds under a small weather-protected enclosure, and a few simple toys scattered across the grass. This outdoor space would be their safe area to adjust to their new life while still enjoying fresh air and sunshine. Having a secure but open space is ideal for semi-wild kittens, giving them freedom to explore while remaining protected from danger. The woman carefully opened the carrier door in this prepared backyard space, then stepped back to give the kittens room. At first, they remained frozen inside the carrier, too scared to venture out into this strange new environment. The woman left some food near the carrier opening and gave them privacy, knowing they would come out when they felt safe enough. When she checked back later, the kittens had finally left the carrier. Though still cautious, their natural curiosity was beginning to overcome their fear. The braver kitten was already exploring, sniffing around the garden plants and pawing at the grass, while the more timid one stayed close to the carrier, its safe zone. The woman felt her heart warm at seeing them taking their first steps in their new home. Over the next few hours, the kittens gradually became more comfortable in the backyard. They discovered the food bowls and eagerly ate real cat food, probably the first proper meal they had enjoyed in their short lives. They took tentative steps across the grass, which felt familiar under their paws, yet somehow different from the wild forest floor they were used to. By evening, the woman was delighted to see both kittens playing, their fear temporarily forgotten as they chased a toy mouse across the lawn and batted at dandelion seeds floating in the air. Their natural kitten energy and playfulness began to emerge, a wonderful sign that they were beginning to feel secure. The gray kitten still ran to hide under a bush whenever the woman approached the yard, but the braver one was already showing signs of curiosity about this human who had brought them to this open, safe place. The woman spent time sitting quietly on a garden bench, letting the kittens get used to her presence without forcing interaction. She knew from experience that pushing too fast with wild kittens often backfires, making them more fearful rather than less. Instead, she let them approach on their terms, offering treats when they came near, building positive association. Over the next few days, the kittens continued to grow more comfortable in their new environment. The braver one began to approach the woman when she sat in the room, sniffing her fingers cautiously before allowing a brief pet. The gray kitten remained more cautious but watched these interactions closely, learning from its sibling that perhaps humans could be trusted. The woman had been monitoring them closely for any signs of illness, knowing that outdoor kittens often carry parasites or infections. When she felt they were emotionally stable enough, she would need to have them checked by a professional. For now, she was focused on building trust and helping them adjust to indoor life. As the days passed, the kittens became more confident exploring every corner of the backyard. Each area brought exciting discoveries: sunny patches perfect for napping, small trees they could practice climbing, and interesting garden creatures like butterflies and beetles that made their ears twitch with curiosity. The woman made sure the entire yard remained secure and safe, with no gaps in the fence and protection from larger animals. By the end of the month, the transformation was remarkable. The once wild kittens had become playful, semi-tame companions who raced through the backyard with the confidence of animals who knew they were home. The braver kitten would now come running when the woman called, while the gray one, though still more independent, would watch from a comfortable distance before cautiously approaching for treats. Both showed excitement when the woman came into the yard, a far cry from the frightened creatures who had hidden from her in the fallen tree. Looking at them playing together, chasing each other around the garden beds, and pouncing on leaves blowing across the grass, the woman felt deep satisfaction. These kittens, once facing such an uncertain future in the wild, were now thriving in a safe, loving environment. They had regular food, shelter from harsh weather, protection from predators, and most importantly, the chance to just be kittens, playful, curious, and carefree in the open air. The transformation reminded her why rescue work, though often challenging and emotionally demanding, was so rewarding. Each animal saved represented a life changed completely, from struggle and fear to safety and love. As she watched the kittens finally drift off to sleep on the couch beside her, their small bodies relaxed and trusting, she knew all the patience and gentle persistence had been worthwhile. The kittens from the fallen tree had found their forever home in this open backyard, and in doing so had also given the woman the precious gift of their trust and growing affection. Their story was one of thousands happening every day around the world, quiet rescues that transform lives one animal at a time. For these two lucky kittens, life had begun in hardship, but would continue in happiness, their days filled with sunshine, fresh air, natural exploration, and the security of a safe outdoor home where they could thrive while maintaining their connection to the open world they came from.